Welcome back to Just About TV, and today we have the lovely Elle.
Hi. Yes, Elle.
Before we start though, I would like to say big up Hunter Flow. He's in
Yeah, big up Hunter
behind the
Flow.
scenes.
Big up producer.
Like my man.
Yeah, Reem. Everybody inside here.
Yeah, everybody needs to
Most important, big up the artists who coming through.
Right.
Thank you.
She's the first female artist we have on the show so far.
Now,
And she won't be the last as well.
the naive thing is she came
Breaking
here.
history here.
If it was female art, I mean, she has a show. She should be at right now, but she's here getting this done. So
Yeah, which we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Before we start, I'd like to say big up by our sponsor.
big up
So-
Nick's Boutique 784
As well, yeah,
7
big up Nick's as well. So anything you need, hats, shoes, clothes, check us out, PH Vera, shop number 28.
Right.
Alright, there you go.
Yeah.
So before we start, I would like to say thank you for showing up.
You're welcome.
First
Thank
one.
you for having me, actually.
Yeah, again, she Howard, you were showing up and she showed
Yeah,
out.
yeah, I just
So
the
we're
occasion.
gonna, so we're gonna bring show
Yeah,
out.
just to see, man.
Right.
Got a lot of female in here now. So,
I'm flattered.
yeah,
Yeah.
so before we start, I'd just like to know how you doing today?
Good.
Good?
Great, yeah.
Alright,
I'm good.
What's the energy like? What's the energy like?
Normal.
I mean, cause you have a show to go perform at and so like,
Nah,
are you
I
in the
guess
mindset for that?
I'm in my head, just
Ah.
preparing that, running that over in my head while I'm here, but I'm good. I'm here.
So, where you from, Will?
St. Vincent.
Well, yeah, Simonson, but which part of Simonson?
Tongue.
Tongue?
I'm a city girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I looked up on the internet, they said Golden Vale.
Originally, Jesus, Lord.
Yeah.
I'm originally from Goldenville. Yes.
You see,
but
when you say you're a city girl, and I feel really like differentiate it because city girls have
I
two meanings
grew
in this
up
genre.
in Kingstown.
Mm.
I'm originally from Goldenville, but I grew up in town. Went to school in town, lived in town for most of my life. So I say city girl.
Mm. So you ever spent like time abroad?
Yeah, I actually lived in Canada for about 10 years.
Wow, 10 years in Canada.
Yeah.
How was that like?
Life be lifing.
So you used to participate in like carnival and thing over there?
Not really. I was there for hustle.
Ah,
Yes.
really see, yeah, awesome.
You had to be focused in those cities and countries.
So then like life in Canada. Yeah, but like how old were you then? When you just went to Canada?
I left at 18.
18?
Yeah.
And at that point like you didn't really have like a passion for like the music scene and whatever.
I've always had a passion for music.
But you
I've never really approached it here in my younger years, but when I got to Canada, I was recognized by one of Canadian reggae sensations, Mr. Junior Miller, and he said to me that he really thinks that I need to make use of my unique sound. So he brought me in the studios from there, and that would have been in like 2013.
And you didn't start it off doing soca.
No.
So, what, dancehall?
Reggae.
Reggae?
Actually, yeah, reggae and R&B. Because I was told that I have like this R&B song to my voice, so I started off in that genre.
Okay.
You see, I can hear it right now and they give me some Keisha Cole there. Give me some Keisha Cole. So not to jump too fast, right? But we understand that you had participated in a Cash Money Records
Audition.
and that was in Canada.
That was in Montreal.
That was in Montreal?
Specific, yeah.
So what was the experience like with that?
It was surreal. I mean, going into such a interview, I would say, or audition for Cash Money is not a typical thing. It's not a typical occurrence. So I was pretty grateful to actually being able to be a part of that.
But during that, like, were there any feelings of like nervousness, maybe like worrying?
Of course.
Cash Money?
I mean,
Yeah.
imagine, okay, let's just say I kind of grew up being told, being amongst Caribbean people, they never really encourage you to say, they more discourage you. So then you have that insecurity in you.
Right.
And then you're being found by this reggae sensation and he's saying, well, you have a unique sound. And within that time, you're trying to master your sound and then you get the opportunity to audition. In your head, you're like, oh my God, am I good enough? Would I even be qualified or considered as a great artist, or would I even be selected?
Right.
And I think because of my Caribbean culture, why I was selected among 16 other artists is because I did going to the audition with reggae and dancehall, which was different from the others that audition, which was mostly like hip hop, R&B. I mean, that's what Cash Money is, right?
Yeah.
So me doing that was like, oh, okay, this is something different. And yeah, I got selected with 16 others for artist development. So it was a good opportunity.
So the opportunity and like the selection process, like how did it came about?
Well, I guess the organizers of the audition, they got back to the source who would have put me on and, you know, congratulate me that I was selected. And there was a meeting after that with the other artists that was selected for a gathering, which I attended, but circumstances beyond my control would not have allowed me to go further than that. So,
I mean, well, given at that point, you know, for sure you ain't give up because, you know, look at where you are now.
I have a passion for music, and I think I'll die with that passion. You know, I'm one of those that fights against the odds, and again, the negativity that surrounding you in regards to your dream, because most people see the music career as a you might not, most likely might not type of.
Yeah.
So
well, what I'll say, right, well, before you die with the passion, you will definitely live out the passion.
well, I'm doing that now.
Right, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Where you get the passion from, though?
My mom. I've always had a love for the music, and growing up she would have noticed this in me. Unfortunately, she passed when I was 12.
And condolences.
It's fine, it's life. And because she was the only family and the only source that would have seen that from a young age, I don't want to disappoint her. I feel like I should at least try.
Yeah.
So that is the least I can do as her
I'm
daughter.
sure she'll be proud of you right now.
I've been reading that the same article I read up, and she said you used to sing into it. Like any songs you playing on the radio,
Yeah.
you can sing along to it.
For some reason I have this, well, I'm sure most of us have a memory. You hear songs and you pick it up and you would hear it and re-sing it. But that was me. All the songs on the radio, I'm just like going at it. And I think one day I was like sick and she didn't hear me singing.
Yeah.
So she turns around and she's like, "You sick?" And I'm like, "Yes, mommy." And she's like, "I could tell because you're not singing every damn song on the radio." So for me, that stuck in my head, and I said, you know what? Let me just do my mama proud. At least this round, yeah.
Sure. So like growing up, right? Reggae, R&B, soca. Like, what are some of the icons? Who are some of the icons that you looked up to?
Growing up, one of the first songs that I learned was "These Streets" by Tanya Stevens. I got my ass
This
whooped for
like
that.
I do.
Yeah. And she became somebody that I kind of looked up to. Then eventually Eternal came in the mix with Not Afraid and those kind of motivational songs, because again, I was going through some emotional battles, not having a mom, not having a dad, and growing up in the Caribbean, in a country like this, no shades. But, you know, we all just hustling through life, and yeah, so those artists kind of put some motivation in my movements going forward.
Okay, so
you have any like those are reggae? You have any like any soca scene, though?
I love Nadia Batten.
Very good.
Yeah, Patrice.
Yeah, Patrice also.
Yeah,
Patrice again,
big
boy.
them up. But I would say I do not take on much songs. Like, I don't listen to much songs as I used to before, since I've started becoming an artist myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to spend any time like working on your craft?
Pretty much. And also, I do not want to be too influenced by others' work.
Other songs and
so I don't want to come off sounding like them. I kind of want to put my stamp. When you hear Elle, you know it's Elle.
Originality.
You know? Yeah, so that is just me.
Alright, so two things, right? How would you describe your personal energy, and how would you describe the feeling that you get from your songs, or the feeling people should get from your songs?
I feel like I have a positive personal energy, especially towards people. I mean, sometimes we could be at fault by not having it within towards ourselves, but I do have a positive energy. Again, my upbringing contributes to that. I would say I've seen the worst of what life can offer. So I really try to shift people's mindset and, you know, encourage them to just live your life doing what you love, most importantly, because I always say you don't want to end up on your last day and your mind going and you're like, oh my God, I wish I did this with my life or my time. You know, so that's how I live my life. My career is what I love. My hobby is what I love. Anything that I partake in within my time is what I enjoy.
Okay. Well, I mean, we talk about positive energy, and I think in aroma too, because boy, like the viewers can't really smell it now, boy, but like, boy, like wow, yeah, have a nice aroma.
Thank you.
For sure. Other thing is right, in Vincy, arriving back in Vincy from Canada, like you got immediately into like, I should start working on my career now, or was like, you know, in a sense of like, let me catch back up with like family members and so on, enjoy the scene a while before, you know, you get deep into work.
I came back with the motivation of doing music because when I left, the last thing I did actually was to open for DeMarco. He did a No Walla Walla tour, right? So I did an opening for his show.
Right.
And
that's big though.
Yeah, I know, right? Coming back, I did not want to lose that energy. So I pretty much right away was just trying to figure out who I can work with. I did find one producer before, but that didn't work out. And then Hunter, my producer, was sent to me like a guardian angel.
Yeah, for sure.
And from our very first session, I knew he's the guy I want to work with. And ever since we've been inseparable. Yeah, tears.
We previously had, me and Hunter spoke about it as well before. We previously had Nova Sumin on the podcast, and after shooting, like he mentioned, you know, some people that we can check out and look into as well, and you were one of the persons that he mentioned. Yeah, he mentioned Elle, and he showed us some of your music and so on.
That's pretty cool. I missed that episode or something.
Yeah, for sure. Nova Sumin episode, you should check it out. So like,
I'm big up your manager too as well.
Yeah, I'm big up Hunter as well.
He hit us up on the on Instagram, and then he was like, "Yo, he was a bam send number." So I spoke. I was on work. I was saying I had this nice artist here. Yeah, check out his songs them. But I've not listened to his songs before.
Okay, so
because the Hunter Flow put with Chowder and Pecos. I forget the other one. Who? Banco. Yeah, that's my song for sure. The Chowder, I think I like every song on it. The Chowder one growing on me as well. And yours as well. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so after this first one, I went and listened to the one with Young Grabber. So then it's between them two days, I said before the camera started shooting, I have a pick as, you know, best song for now.
I've listened to a lot of your songs, right?
Yeah.
And your music
give off like power as well.
Your music, most of your music.
Oh, Remedy. Love that song.
Yeah, music. Most of your music give off like calm and mellow, you know, relaxing vibes, right? But in parties, right? How would you describe yourself in parties? Like you're a fitter, or you're just like one of them like not even type of person?
No, I would say I bipolar because it depends on the song. You know, it depends on the vibe. I might be like hooray, and then I might be like, you know. So it really depends. In regards to my music, I am transitioning from dancehall and reggae into soca. It's not a genre that I'm used to singing or writing. You know, so Hunter has been helping me along that line in terms of transitioning. So my songs for right now is still a stamp of me and also me learning.
Yes, you still genre. Working on the craft and trying to perfect.
And listening to the other songs and seeing what the people are into. I'm not sure if I'll get there, but we'll see. Yes, I find.
So far, for me, Paul, I think you get in there.
Yeah.
You get in there.
So a lot of it comes with self-belief too. Yeah, I get self-belief.
Oh no, you know, it's not self-belief, but I'm when I say I'll get there in terms of the type of songs that I find the majority is into, may not be the type of songs that I would produce.
Yeah, I understand. But we did an episode with Slowy yesterday, right? Big up Slowy, and like I find the word of the day yesterday was Galley Fest. So you see anything you're doing right now, we just have a Galley Fest now, man.
That's to me. Manifest.
Manifest. I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah, we Galley Fest it.
But you ain't doing no man over here.
No, me actually tell yo since yesterday. Since yesterday, I'm trying to tell you like I ain't.
Yeah.
You know how manifest came in the dictionary?
What came in the dictionary?
It was created out of imagination.
Right, you was see. You tell me about yo, me not in on a manifest fam, like Galley Fest thing now.
Rolling my eyes.
The Galley Fest now, man. You was.
Yeah, just want to ask, how hard is it being a female, underline female soca artist?
Wow, this is a controversial question.
Yeah, can put out the force, cause from what I understand, you see when it comes to like being a female business person, mostly, like I understand, like okay, when it comes to like reaching out to certain people, when it comes to like collaborating and so on, I get that females, like people tend to like try and use the females in a sense of how they can benefit from their body and whatever else than just, you know, keeping it business wise.
I don't know about that part because
Well, that's
ain't
right,
nobody
yeah.
could approach me like that. But I'm a very professional person, and this is because I've owned 3 businesses. So even dealing with my music, I have a business mentality, and my approach would be very professional. So I can detect one of those type of people very early, and I dismiss myself, right? But as a female in St. Vincent, as an artist, it's difficult because I feel like we're in a male-dominating country, and this goes in every aspect of the country, not just music, but like you mentioned, business, the workplaces.
Yep.
I do not feel like us females are appreciated as much as we should. I mean, I would sit down and listen to that radio whole day, and it's a lot of males, and I can't understand as a DJ you can listen to man whole day when there is so much females that has like really good songs, and especially out of St. Vincent, right? But what I would say is that this year I have noticed, you know, there is a shift, and the women are making a statement, which is great. It is also great that we're finally being put on platforms, because I know that would have been a struggle prior, and I want it to remain, if not improve. You know, because I feel like we create a balance, you know, and women, we're very important to the world, to men, to kids, you know, to the country, and it needs to be balanced at this point.
Because so far I couldn't name, I couldn't like 5. I couldn't name 5
solid female artists.
Yes.
You don't have to name them, man.
You Nev Taliban, Kelly J, and Angie Maya. That's 4, right?
That is 4. And big up our original Daniel Vera. So I would throw her in the mix because she is one of St. Vincent's greatest vocalists as a female. You know, she got some fights, but she would have did her path in terms of...
Yeah, like you said, there's a shift because the last 3 soca were rural. Is females one of them, which is Kelly J one, South Leeward, Angie Maya one, Calaqua, and North Leeward. So then
finally,
so
that is all I have to say. Finally,
there's a shift.
I mean, we watch Trinidad and these other countries that would push their females, and I know they as females would have had it hard to, because the music industry on a whole is male dominating. You know,
be that way. Even when it comes to like rap and so on.
Yeah, it's in the industry, but in St. Vincent we had double fight, because we already have the male dominating, and then we already have most men not valuing women. So now we have to prove ourselves in both ways, you know, multiple ways I should say. So I'm glad that the ladies are breaking through. I'm happy to be a part of the fight, and I just hope going forward it'll encourage more female talents to, you know, pursue the dream. If they had doubts before, well, they can say now, well, you know what, it look like we can stand a chance, and take the leap.
After a while, so like the one I always remember, half my head for sure, Fire Empress. Fire Empress left her mark on this,
I love her too.
The soca scene. Fire Empress left her print for sure. And she was out, I was at work, they had a Vinci Mass, like welcoming. And it was like a small lunch for like passengers coming in to the country. So it was a show of culture and Fire Empress was out there. I said, what? She did wrong for so long. And she still sound the same.
Yeah. She's naturally
talented. Yeah, but Fire Empress since we were a little boy and like since young primary school.
She was doing it at a time where it was still me dominating the show.
Yeah, but she have that kind of alpha type of personality. So I think for her, she knew how to fight. She knew how to put her foot down and stand her ground as a female artist. And I think that's what most of us females need to do, regardless, is just put your foot down. Make a decision. Are you doing music for popularity in St. Vincent? Are you doing music for yourself? Or are you doing music to go further? You have to make a decision, because then it would obviously determine how much effort you put into
and
how far you go.
Yeah.
So this season, right, for the season's edition of Carnival, like, do you have any plans written down, like, yeah, I'm trying to accomplish this season, or like it's just like, working and improving?
I pretty much accomplished my plans for this year, which would have been to get on shows, because last year would have been my official launch as an artist.
Yeah.
And getting my songs out there. The plan this year would have been to get on platforms and shows and stuff, which already started, and I do have a couple of shows lined up. So next year I'm on to another path of my plan. So
last year you spoke about your official launch, right? One of your biggest tracks would have been Own Way.
The very first song.
Yeah. What was the process like behind Own Way? And what was the response like from individuals?
Own Way. When I decided to do the soca song, I wanted to write in a way where it applies to me. And one of the things is I have a little one. She's gonna be 4. I'm a single mom, and in between that, sometimes you need a moment for yourself. And then when I do step out, you're living with family and stuff, and you have a child and you this and and all of this stuff, and I'm like, leave me, let me just catch a vibe. You understand? For a moment. So the song was written in a way where your priority is to provide for your family, but on weekends you want that moment. You want that time to free up. Don't call me. When you see me, don't talk to me.
As the
songs say. So that is how that song came about, and it did get a good response. I was surprised with the amount of people that reached out and wanted to interview me, and from different regions and past.
Yeah, because you and boy, I forget the show name. In that Vincent just showed the word. Oh my days, some CM something.
Is that the one in States? Or was it the one with the gentleman with the glasses?
Randy Small was on there to
GMT TV.
Right, I think that's in this.
From Grenada.
Oh, Grenada.
Yeah.
My bad. I've been on multiple, so it's kind of hard for me to remember all. But yeah, that song, a lot of people related to it, and I was happy for that. So yeah.
I feel like if after the the official launching, like a lot of people were expecting what we expected from her the following year, like she gonna come back the following year, like what she gonna follow up with and so on. Yeah, so there was definitely anticipation there.
Well, I followed up with quite a few songs.
Yeah, you definitely did well for this year.
Yeah, I have about 5 songs.
Yeah, about 5 songs you have out currently.
Yeah.
That is it for the year.
So there's a marketing strategy
it should be, but I don't know, because there is projects that are in other producers' hands that I don't know when they would drop it, but in the event that they drop it, then it'll just.
So also they do like in terms of like dropping songs, like you produce them do say, well, we gotta drop this song.
Yeah, they relate, but what I'm saying is that they can come to me any day, even after this interview, and say, well, we're gonna throw out this song, even though it's a bit last minute, but we're gonna throw it out. You understand? So I can't say that the songs that I have out is the last.
Okay.
Right? So yeah.
So you're releasing 5 songs this is right. That is your marketing strategy of like flooding the market to like make people get familiar with your song, get familiar with
No,
you.
actually, the song with Grabber would have been a last year project.
A last year project.
Oh.
That was recorded last year and was to be released last year, but then again, it's out of my hands. So the producer would have pushed it for this year.
Sweet beat.
So that leaked out,
Yeah.
leaked over, I should say, to this year. The other songs, like "Don't Let Me Down," was very impromptu. Yeah. That was almost like a last minute thing. Hunter was like, "Okay, we train you on this rhythm," and I'm like, "Okay, cool, but we do it," you know. But the other songs was planned. 3 songs was my thing for this year, but
Okay, when it comes to like recording song, finding like the idea you want to bring out in the song, to paint a picture in the song, like yes, you ever get like writer's block or so on, you ever find like you just go on like freestyle and just like catch a vibe or whatever.
I'm human. I get writer's block. I do not freestyle. I can't freestyle for shit. My language. but I can sit down and write a good song, I feel. It depends on what the vibe of the rhythm is giving me, or it depends on my current situation. If there is something that I'm going through and I feel like I need to write about it, or if I'm just going to be playful with the beat and use my imagination and write. So it really varies.
So how long did it take you to write Don't Let Me Down?
Hunter, how long it took you to write Don't Let Me Down?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Hunter wrote that song, by the way.
Yeah, big up Hunter.
Yeah.
A day?
And it usually takes me...
That is like going back and forth, words changing, words and so.
Boy.
Because I have to write for a woman.
Boy, because I didn't yesterday. I try freestyle boy, they say that's who will be artists or they are artists, me I try and get into the realm right now, boy. Ever at all, because this is very hard to be honest.
No, we harder is producing.
That.
We harder is producing, boy. Nah, me couldn't do it, nah.
Artist just have a
Yeah, I couldn't do it, boy. Nah, the producing part, boy. Nah.
It's difficult all around, because to write a good song is also difficult. Unless you have an exceptional talent like Problem, then it's hard to kind of write something that you
2 things I want to find out, right? What has been the soca songs that released this year so far that you have been like vibing to? Soca songs that released like
Afraid, hon.
Big up problem.
Yeah, big up problem on that one. I think most of us afraid hon and have experienced some sort of hon. So that. How are you?
Yeah, but those bunks are.
Yeah, that song has been.
You stronger than me, that's all I'm gonna say.
So Afraid Han.
Hunter's song for sure had gone. That was the very first song on the rhythm, and that's the rhythm. I think is a mixture of the rhythm, the melody of the verses, or everything combined. Kind of gave me a vibe.
The thing about that, the first time I played listening it, I don't like if any, you could have thrown current upon a rhythm, the other still like this song. But it's the rhythm, and for me,
it's the rhythm.
Once you catch me in a rhythm, you go clear. For me, that's for me. You don't.
No, you can hear them vibes, catchy. Again, nice, good feeling on the man.
Yeah, big up Ian
Yeah,
Jackson.
big up Ian.
You came through with that rhythm, but the lyrics of Head Gone song also resonated because there is certain things that was mentioned in it. You know, we all went through burial, and we sometimes go through so much stuff that we feel like a drink would solve the problem or help you forget about the problem. So I related to that song. Again, I do not listen to much songs.
So the other question is now, which local artist would you like to work with?
Anyone. I'm very open, as long as it's to create music that is positive energy, I am open, male and female.
Okay. Because there are a lot of potential collabs that could happen, eh? Yeah, a lot of potential collabs that could happen. Could be with.
Go for a afraid hand part too.
Problem.
You never know.
Yeah, problem
Alright.
you will do like a little remix or something.
Fingers crossed.
Hit up
So
L,
I've
hit up
seen that
Hunter
he's
Flow.
been working with some artists as of late. Big you up on that. Because it's really appreciated from like the smaller artists to see the ones that broke through the barriers to actually come back and want to assist.
Right.
Yeah, I won't mind doing a collab with Problem at all.
You see, it comes to the so many problem, boy. Yeah, I mean, that's a big accomplishment by itself, to be honest.
Yeah,
Can't
and
problem.
this gentleman owes me a collab for years.
Big ups. But the people they won't be able to see him.
I mean, because if you are a past class,
Miss the currency in the building. Come and show
yeah,
your
key
face.
currency,
man.
Yeah, Keith, come
we
here.
got key currency in the building right now.
Go
Just
walk in,
come,
go walk in.
Watch the while.
let's come through your face, make you know you about the same as still. Yeah,
Come
come
on,
on, let's
guys.
go and say, yeah, we got key currency in the building right now.
In the building,
Yeah.
just landed.
Right.
How much hours ago? Can't say remember, boy. But yeah, I'm here now.
Somebody
Right,
had gone.
Right, just survive. Welcome here.
Manners and respect, everybody.
Big up, big
Real
up,
thing.
big up.
Star girl.
Yes, please.
You getting it in?
Yeah.
So it's a Keith, we are a collab.
Yeah,
What?
key to your color.
Well, he ain't get the award yet.
Yeah, I see what
Keith just take him out.
Yeah, so,
Nah, he on his business, so he's pardoned.
I mean, well, future references definitely, like, you have to get your collab.
I will get my collab.
Alright then,
Right.
you getting on kid?
It's on camera, so he can't say no.
They like how you see the shape up so far.
I do. I love that carnival itself in Simmons is shifting. With what Mr. Small is doing, it's very good. So big you up, Rodney.
Yeah, big up,
Also, I feel like this year would be a different experience. Also, probably expecting more foreigners and stuff.
Yeah,
You play Masters here?
I don't ever play my hand.
You never Masters? You see,
And I can't.
The Hunter did tell us that you are shy and he did say again.
Shy is not it, but Miss Cadogan of Nelson Block, Ali Cadogan, my mommy, my
Right.
adopted mom. She is the president of Nelson Block. So as long as you're not playing Nelson Block, you can't be in her house. Straight up. And I
So you in two
appreciate
choices.
them, yeah, for
Two choices, you either play with Nelson Black or you don't play at
or you
all.
don't play at all. So, I mean, I love that they're into traditional. I am into it, especially for my kid, because it's important for the children
Right.
to understand the traditional aspect of carnival. And I have my kid has been involved from the time she's born. She
Right.
played at 1. She's gonna be 4. This is gonna be her 4th year
4,
playing
wow,
carnival,
wow.
and I probably did like 2.
Here again.
So she done surpass.
She
me.
played 4 times more than me.
You never played.
Played.
Yeah, this child of mine is very active, but again, Nelson Block provides that space for kids to be involved in the mass, because we see the shift in terms of costumes and how it's a bit sexualized now, and you know, you kind of don't want your children to be exposed to those that side. So Nelson Block provides a safe.
Yeah, especially so early.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's other mass bands too that has kiddies, Lonely Birds. I would like to think.
Yeah,
and
they
others.
were protect the kids them,
But
protect the
like,
kids them, you know?
big up y'all for holding on the traditional aspect of carnival.
So, but like being a mother, right? Like that changed like the way that you operate in your day to day when it comes to like your career and thing. I mean, 'cause obviously you got more
It depends
responsibilities
on
now.
the support system. I would say my mom is very supportive, especially when it comes to times like this when I have stuff. She would step in and, you know, take care of my child. But it also plays a role in my writing, because not only that my kid is around me, I'll consider her to be one of those very special kids where she
listening to what
picks
she's
up
hearing, yeah.
very easily. She knows all my songs.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine you writing a song, because I do have a song to come out. It's such a good feeling when you're up in there. Right. Imagine your child singing up in there and those type of stuff, right? So that is something I'm working on at home, trying to reverse that. But I try to be very careful as to the content I release, because she's like, Mommy, I want to dance to your songs in my costume. And I'm like, oh my God, I don't know if I have a song for you.
You see, again, I don't know, like, that's the biggest fan right this already.
Well, yeah,
biggest fan right
and
there
support, oh yeah, she's number one. But eventually, as she's old enough, she'll understand there's just some things that Mommy gotta do and sing that may not be for her ear. So,
Yeah, just you know, you Carl, what comes with being an artist, right, is you have to be an entertainer, right? An entertainer, you know, have to provide the music that people can, like, either relate to, people, music that people can vibe to. I mean, obviously, you won't go ahead with saying things like bluntly, or you have to sense things in a certain way and thing on, but yeah, but like some songs and the little abbreviations and whatever else, yeah, you might feel like, if boy, my child might hear this song and start singing the song.
Not only that, I gravitate mostly to Trinidad soca, because their soca is somewhat written in a way where it's not vulgar and it's still enjoyable. And I don't feel like you have to be vulgar in your songs for your songs to be a hit.
That is true.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the audience that you're targeting again. And for me, I am content with the people that is gravitating to my songs. Am I looking to be a big superstar? Maybe. If my songs can make it to that, right. But if it doesn't happen, I'm still okay, because I know the content I put out is still decent content, and it's gonna live past my lifetime, you know. So when I leave this earth, I want to know what remains represents well, you know.
So you shifting now and mainly attacking like the soca genre right now. Does that mean like you're gonna be putting out less reggae, less R&B and
Let me stop you right there. Like, I have to remind everybody, I'm an artist. I am not a soca artist. I'm not
a R&B artist or
I
reggae
am
artist.
not one particular artist. After the soca season, I still would be putting out music. I recently came back from Jamaica, made some good connections over there. So I do have future projects and collaborations to do outside of St. Vincent, in the dancehall area, but I do sing Afro. Again, I do R&B, and I feel like I may come out with an EP after all of this, of different, my style on different genres.
So not like a specific genre for the EP, but like a mix in the EP.
It's a mix. You're just gonna hear Elle.
You're just gonna hear what Elle has to offer. Okay. I
don't think artists should be placed into a box.
They place themselves into a box. I don't place myself
into
into a box.
If you're an artist, right, and you're basically at this point, you're a product, right, and you're putting out something, you have to put out what all you have to offer.
Literally, that's my stamp.
Right, so Hunter Flow also works on your R&B rhythms and so on, reggae rhythms and so on.
Do he have a choice? No, but he records. Depending on the producer, they would most likely do like the mixing and mastering, but he does my recording sessions. So we will lay the track with him, and then the project moves on.
Okay.
To who necessary.
And what's like the relationship like? It's like he'll be behind you all the time, like saying like, Ellie, you have to come and get this done, like, hey, you know what, record the back over this party, get this done again, like, you know.
Yeah, in most cases. I mean, we all have our days, but this is why I work with Hunter, because he's not one of those producers that would sit down and be like, yeah, take your money and go. You understand? He literally says, it sounds like shit. You need to go back. Or he will have me run it a couple times before I even go into the booth so that I get used to the song and stuff like that. But he he produces. He stands up to his name. Like he lives up to his.
He makes sure like you put forward the best product.
Boy, Hunter must live almost all the project.
That is good.
No, really and truly, no.
That is
Really
good.
and
I
truly.
know one in why you work at it like now. It was like 25, 9, 26, 10 every day. Like you don't sleep.
No days off, Mr. No days off, boy. Mr. No days off. I mean, you see, when you playing a certain role, right? You have to lead by example too. So I think that is the best thing that he does. Like he shows, okay, like yeah, you see how he be at it every day. He try to perfect his thing every day. Like he inspires everyone else around him to like follow suit and do the same.
And I have this same mentality, and I feel like attracts like. So when you meet people who is much like yourself, it's magic.
Man, God. So you have a vehicle, right? You have a vehicle, and 3 wheels spinning, but one not spin. Vehicle really ain't going anywhere.
Vehicle still drive.
It's still
Mine
good.
go
Where
drive.
vehicle going?
It still can drive. Once you tell it drive, it'll drive. But it depends on the wheel, on which wheel is gone.
We have vehicle going.
Yeah? But my vehicle carry me from point A to point B.
You have to reach
reach
home.
home.
You know, it's your mindset. And are you gonna allow the obstacles to prevent you from getting to your destination? Because I can decide I'm gonna sit down in that vehicle and not move, or find an alternative transportation and still get to my destination. So it depends on your mindset, and that's how I approach life.
Yeah, we try to do the same as well.
Law of attraction is a thing. We spoke about Gallifest.
Yeah, Gallifest.
God, I can't believe I said it. For me, manifest. Right?
Yeah,
As a
for
female.
you.
Alright, Gallifest.
We spoke about manifestation.
Gallifest.
And it is a thing. We are our minds. Our life is a reflection of our minds. Okay, what nobody says, I have experienced it. And until your mindset is changed, your life is not going to change. So I feel like we attract everything that comes, almost everything, because 20% is destiny. We're not going to get there. But we attract majority of what happens in our life.
But what's one of the biggest life lessons you think you've learned?
Losing my mom. And the life lesson behind that is because I grew up watching her working multiple jobs to provide. And when she finally got that house that she dreamed of, she didn't live long enough to enjoy it. You know, I was too young to even save anything, but that's the next story.
Yeah.
The lesson was that anything that I do, and I said it before, I have to love it. I have to enjoy it in the moment, because tomorrow is never guaranteed. Anything could happen at any time. And I want to be able to say, you know what, I did this. I actually went ahead and pursued my music career. You know, I went ahead and I got a beautiful daughter. I went ahead and I did this, that, whatever it is that you're trying to pursue. I feel like you should not procrastinate. Yeah, so that's my life lesson.
Yes, remember somebody telling me something else.
Procrastination carries you nowhere. It's literally the biggest time killer.
Yeah, I was watching this thing and I said like the most important thing is getting started. Like you could be there meditating and trying to find the perfect conditions or whatever, but like the perfect conditions might never come.
Oh, I mean, once you have an idea, you're already halfway to where you want to go, because you actually know where you want to head. Once you have that knowledge, you're halfway there. It's just to execute it.
Correct.
And have faith and knowing. I'm not saying believing, but knowing that you're gonna achieve is a whole different level, because believing, still there's a space with doubt. It's like, I believe God is real, but you don't know. You understand? But if you know God is real, you're literally moving with the expectation that He's gonna show Himself, because nobody can change that. And it's the same thing with everything that you do. Once you know that this is the direction you're going and this is what you're gonna achieve, and you know you could reach it, you're halfway there.
Right, earlier, right, you spoke to us about you owning 3 businesses. Like, what kind of businesses are they?
Salon and spa. My first business would have been in Montreal, but obviously I'm here now.
Yeah.
And then I went on to opening a salon, and then I upgraded that salon into a spa. But currently I'm on a break because I'm trying to focus. I'm actually deal with my music as a business.
Yeah,
Also.
yeah.
So this is where I'm at right now, and this is the focus.
Okay.
I do
And why
have.
is that like that hectic?
It's not hectic yet,
Oh.
but I am putting myself together for the music. You know, it is the main dream. Everything else is what I love to do.
Right.
I made it a career because it's what I love, and it's something I have my skills to fall back at any time. You know, in case this doesn't work out, you know, I can always do that, right? But the focus is my music right now.
Okay, so we promise Hunter we go on and try and take an hour of your time, right? So because we know you have a lot of organizing to go and do. But one final question I want to ask, right? At what point, like in your career, like at what point in the career you gotta reach for like you can get feeling like, yeah, I actually did it, or like yeah, actually, you know, they where I want to be.
When I'm outside of St. Vincent, and actually, I mean, even though I would have done work outside of St. Vincent, them pass, and you know, being recognized by artists that are up there would make me feel like you did it, you did something.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of like, cause you have been speaking about like, you know, leaving something that will be here even beyond you, even beyond your existence. That something will live on forever. So like, it's in terms of like having a feeling like that you know,
Pretty
you have accomplished something
I've
great.
Accomplished, yeah. That is what I'm looking for, and
I had 2 questions, right? When you finish.
no, well, that is it really.
Okay, one is say your young daughter now grows up and she say, "Mom, I want to be an artist." Like, okay, what you gonna like instill in her? No? Like, cause see, you're an artist, so then you would have to live through this life before. You're just looking to the future right now.
I'm already that parent where I encourage my child to take part in whatever she feels like. She's gonna be 4, but she's already doing swimming, she's already doing tennis, soccer, soon gymnastic, and instruments.
Wow.
But
You say what again?
soccer, tennis, swimming. She's gonna start gymnastic and an instrument pretty soon. But I do this because as a child, she has that interest in everything. She wants to be everything right now. And I'm not gonna say no.
Yeah, you're just supporting it.
It's like, Mommy, I want to be a firewoman. You go, girl. Mommy, I want to be this.
For sure.
That is right. Mommy, you gonna get Mommy out of jail? Yeah. Okay. Cool. You understand?
Yeah.
I will encourage her up until she's at a point where she can differentiate and say, well, I'm not really into this, Mommy, and I feel like this is the direction I want to go. And when she gets there, I am gonna be that mom that says, go for it. I will support you.
And that is very good to be honest, because okay, not to say mine was a great mother. Let's put her, if she watching this,
see, I'll put on it.
Yeah. But you know, growing up, you tell them, oh, you want to do football, and then some parents do shut down the idea of you want, you know.
I grew up in that era where not particularly my mom, but like people around that would be so negative towards a child's potential, or they see a child's interest and they would not assist in developing that interest. And I think this is why a lot of young people fall astray, because they don't have the people that's invested in them and wants to see them at their potential, you know. So I don't want to be that parent for my child. And again, I grew up mostly without parents, so I'm trying to give her the life that I didn't have the opportunity to get.
For sure.
All right. So
my last question is, for any young, like just a word of advice for any young lady coming up. Just a word of advice, whether it be music or anything they want to do in life.
Particularly to ladies.
Particularly to ladies.
What I would say is I don't know which camera to look at, but that one here?
Yeah, that one.
Have confidence in yourself. We are emotional beings as females, and words can affect us in many ways. But what I would say is have confidence, know your worth, and do not let people, human beings, I like to say, dictate your path. Just be you and just have confidence. That is all I could really say, because confidence does a lot. Yeah.
For sure.
So, yeah.
The message.
For the females.
So you get advice females?
I mean, just be good to the woman, them.
Alright. Yeah.
That is it. Literally. We prayed on. So, yeah.
Yo.
Y'all chill all yourselves. But that's it.
Yo, enough love and thank you.
Thank you for
to Elle
having
for pulling
me. I
up.
appreciate it.
Doing her
Thank
busy
you.
schedule. Thank you for Elle to pulling up. Big up Wonderful for getting everything set up. Yeah, shout out to Currency for pulling up. Yeah, shout out to the whole team.
Big up everybody.
Yeah, big up everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in to another Just a Vibe TV episode. And until the next time, wait. I don't ever do that. Make sure you're seeing.
And my social media handle, it's your fave __ LELLE, not Ellie, but L. You can find me on Instagram.
Right.
And on Facebook, my government name, Chantel Map.
No, you can, that's all.
So, when you change to you see him on the Facebook.
I tried changing it, but I ain't figured that out yet.
You won't
I
figure out.
haven't worked on
We
that.
get it, but I also need an outro.
Which one you play?
Wait, which one
My
you are
very
here?
first song,
Yeah, which one you are here?
Man, I want to hear the one. I want to hear
Remedy.
No, I want
Which one you are here?
Don't let me know. That I want to hear.
Alright, that was here. Alright. He requested this song here for the outro today.
This is my style.
It's
Yeah,
actually
this is-
one of my favorites.
Yeah,
So
that's on
he,
it?
Yeah.
so he was here. Here we go now.
I love my vocals in.
Yeah, so
in
this
that
is the
song.
outro for today. Big up Elle, big up the whole team, big up Wonderful, big up everybody.
It's your girl, Elle.
It's in my style. I feel like I read this song.
Oh, big you up.
Yeah, I feel like I read this